edition of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with Michele Cummins, local rock star realtor, and myself, Curtis Pope. And here we are. It's another Saturday, another episode. Do we know what number episode we're on? You were keeping track of that when we got to like 200.
I got a big question mark on today's episode.
Yeah, I don't know what number we're at now. I've lost track because I was good for a while. I'm like, oh, we're at 202 or we're at 203. Now I have no idea.
I have to look at our podcast numbers to know. And I haven't looked at that for a bit.
Okay, because it is hard to keep track of because nobody else has put up with me for 200 episodes of anything. So
we were just talking earlier, 2018? No way. That was what? That's when we started.
Yeah. It's hard to believe.
4 years? Is it going on 5?
Yeah.
I've lost count.
That's nobody's put up with me that long other than my wife.
No wonder we get along. I like your Johnny Cash shirt.
Yeah, I have like 5 Johnny Cash shirts.
Yeah.
Just because for one thing, there's lots of them out there,
and they're all black.
and they're always black. Actually, I saw one that was white, and I went, kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah, Johnny Cash shirt should be black, but I've got a few of them. I mean, he was definitely big in my household growing up, and even now, my oldest kid, he loves Johnny Cash.
He's smart.
Yeah.
He has good taste.
Yeah, he's even he was showing me a guitar technique. He goes, early in Johnny Cash's career, Dad, he put a playing card up in the neck, and when he played, he'd get that kind of chicka sound, and I'm like, what? How do you know that? I don't even know that.
Does Johnny Cash have a podcast?
No, I think no. No, I don't think he would. No,
like one of his family members or somebody that worked with him. Or
that's a possibility.
Maybe kind of like,
Maybe he was watching an interview with Willie Nelson or something, or Chris Christopherson or something. I don't know, but he was showing me this time. I'm like, that's kind of cool. All right, so yeah, even to this day, certain artists are just, they're icons and they're timeless.
Chris Christopherson lived in the Fort Langley area. Did you know that?
Yeah, he did live there for a while. Then he was filming something. He was living there.
Richard remembers. Richard used his Generally as a daily driver back then, and we lived in Aldergrove, and he would go to work the back route, forget River Road, I think it's called. Anyways, between Fort Langley and Port Kells area. And he was driving, and he went into the ditch. Yes, he was falling asleep. You're supposed to stay between the ditches, generally.
Yeah, keep between the lines, yeah.
Generally speaking. But no, he went into the ditch. He got stuck on the way home one day. And he is... Michele, that was Chris Christopherson. That was before we knew he lived there, and then we found out he lived there through real estate. I was able to figure out where he lived.
Yeah, he lived there for. I can't where he was filming up here, but yeah, he did. I knew he lived out around here somewhere.
And he helped him pull out of the ditch.
That doesn't surprise me.
He didn't say a thing though,
yeah.
And Richard didn't tell him who he thought he knew he was. But it was funny the look he gave Richard at the end, and I think he said, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, stay between the ditches. Just like he didn't say anything the whole time. He just got out of his truck, hooked it up, pulled him out, and then got back in his truck, said that to Richard, and drove off.
That seems Chris Christopherson like, actually. Yeah. It does. But yeah, I mean, my middle guy, Cody, 18, and because he watched the Elvis movie, he's discovered Elvis now, and he's like listening to all these Elvis songs. I'm like, these songs are almost 70 years old, a lot of these things, and he's listening to them now.
They have good taste.
And kids that listen to the Beatles and the Stones and all this stuff, or Johnny Cash. I mean, it's interesting how kids today are still finding this old music and loving it.
Yeah. Do you like when they have the artist on screen singing or whatnot, and where there's a lot of artists that do that right now, and they sing with a past song or a past artist who've passed away?
It can be interesting.
Like they do a duet?
I think back to when Natalie Cole did that with Nat King Cole, and I mean that was a big deal and it was a huge hit. I mean, I think it can be cool if there's some kind of a connection there, but sometimes it's like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this person singing this song with the artist?
Yeah, because Elvis and his daughter makes sense, but somebody who liked an artist and doing it's kind of awkward.
Yeah. If there's a genuine connection or something there, I think it's kind of cool and it can be quite interesting. But yeah, it's music industry though. They'll try new things, anything to make a buck.
Talking about music industry, I don't know how this actually segues into it, but it's dry January.
It is,
and it was.
So no Christmas coffees for you.
Well, I was meeting. Well, actually, a lot of people I know are doing it,
I
but
am
I didn't.
actually, yep.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
See, you're somebody else. So I didn't know this. So last night I'm sitting having lunch with a colleague, and she's doing it, and my brother, my sister-in-law, is doing it, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that is a great thing. But everyone, and please attest to it. Like, how are you feeling doing Dry January? Like, how is it making you feel? What are some of the positives and negatives?
Well, it's not that difficult for me because I really don't drink a lot anymore. I mean, I'll maybe have a couple beers with my brother-in-law on the weekend or something if we're together. But I've gotten to the point where the hangovers just aren't worth it anymore. So it's not that big of a deal for me. I do like a good beer. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's not that difficult.
What's your favorite local beer?
Well, that's like asking which one of my kids is my favorite. It changes on a daily basis.
That's true.
I always say that I have 2 great kids, and people go, but you have 3. And I go, one's always being a jerk. They have a rotation.
So when I'm going to a conference next week in Banff. It's a real estate conference that's for all brokerages, all realtors across Canada. I'm bringing all my listings. I'm renting a booth. I'm actually going to shop my listings, shop my listings around. And I was like, what can I attract the Fraser Valley to people who don't know who or what the Fraser Valley is, what we're about? How can I attract them? The mighty Fraser, you've got the sturgeon fishing. We've got great wineries. Well, we also have great breweries. And I was thinking something to add to all of that would be really focusing on the local breweries. There's so many great ones.
There is. There definitely is. I mean, and, depending on your definition of the Fraser Valley, I mean, there's a bunch in Port Moody all the way out, to Chilliwack. There's even one in Hope.
Yep.
So you've got plenty of to offer there. And yeah, that is something that we have going for us. Kind of like, I guess Lower Mainland is almost a bit like, your old stomping grounds there, Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
Has quite the craft beer industry going on there as well. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a plus for people like craft beers. More wineries are opening. I mean, there's so much about the Fraser Valley. You're so close to Vancouver if you want to go to a concert or a big event or just go downtown for an evening. And at the same time, you can be out hiking in Manning Park in an hour and a half.
It is true. It's
and
so amazing.
You can be on a lake fishing. You can be hiking. You can do so much.
Mountain biking.
Skiing. There's so much, outdoorsy stuff you can do here. And then we have our weather, which is really quite mild compared to the rest of the country. But again, you take an hour and a half drive and you can be in the mountains with snow.
I know.
And we have how many ski hills within an hour, 2 hours of us?
Speaking of my Sasquatch mountain cabin that I have now, which I am starting to rent it out now, pre-Airbnb. There's just a couple small exterior things I want to do to it, but it's a awesome Quebec-style log chinking cabin, 2-story with a walkout basement. We got a pool table, some smart TVs. We've got air hockey, love air hockey, and a ping pong table. And it's just so cozy. Wood burning fireplace. It's a large place. It can sleep 12 plus.
Oh wow!
And all new appliances. And we've totally redid the inside. It's so cozy and cute and cabiny. But so if anybody wants to go up to Sasquatch, which is a Hemlock, and ski or do anything up there, you can. Actually, I put a little bit teaser on my social media, but you can contact me. I'm happy to send you all more photos and information on it. But it is for rent now.
That's pretty cool.
One of my Airbnbs.
And when you think about that, we have Sasquatch Resort, we have Mount Baker, we have Seymour, we have Whistler, we have Cypress, we have Grouse, we have Manning Park. I mean, all these ski hills and places to do outdoor recreation are within a couple hours.
You really don't have to go anywhere else.
No, you're really set here. And of course, in the spring, there's always those people that like to try to get up on the mountain, do some day skiing, and then hit maybe a late afternoon, like tea time, and golf and ski in the same day.
And then all the golfing we have, the great golfing.
There's a lot of golfing.
So many amazing things. You can never be bored in this area, and it's all within a day's drive.
Yeah.
Less than a day's drive.
Yeah, and let's face it,
Less.
And then if you want to, get away from it all, you can be in the Okanagan in like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yes, and then all of those wineries and that all the lakes and
ski hills up there too. You have ski hills in Vernon and Kelowna and Kamloops.
All year round. In fact, my Airbnb Sasquatch one is called All Seasons Cabin because you can enjoy all the seasons there. It's amazing. So that's our
Absolutely.
whole area. You can enjoy every season. It's not just one season's amazing. They're all amazing. Yeah, it's true. Now, okay, so I have to say, I'm sitting here with like 9 pending transactions, all that's happened in the last week and a half.
So that's why you keep looking at your phone to see if there's
know.
another one coming.
The real estate market has been actually quite good and busy the last week and a half to 2 weeks.
I know
It's been
there's a
amazing.
new listing in my neighborhood. Just went up. The sign just went up yesterday.
Listed by my office, I believe.
I believe it is.
Yes.
One of your co-conspirators. I mean, one of your coworkers.
She's hilarious. I love her. Yeah, it's gotten busy. We've got many more showings and obviously offers and accepted offers happening and a lot of activity. And I've got listings are starting to happen again. And so yeah, it's feeling good. Now next Wednesday though is a Bank of Canada meeting. So we'll see what they do with the interest rates next Wednesday. So next week on our show we'll chat about that. Yeah.
That sounds like a plan. Well, right now we should probably take a break. If people want more information about all the listings that you do have and things like that, where can they go?
After you break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, they can go to MichelleCummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this.